I want to make a short video about something that I already talked about in class, which is a mistake that a lot of young designers who are just learning about typography and graphic design make, which is confusing Art Deco fonts with sans serif fonts. Now, Art Deco fonts belong to a specific period in history, which is the 1920s and the 1930s. And if you go on my History of Visual Communication website and go to the modernists right here, you will in fact find a lot of examples of what this style is, not only in graphic design, but also in architecture and all kinds of things. There were some very important designers that came out of this movement, such as, for example, Cassandre, who also designed a font called Peño, which is quite famous and which I can show you right now, actually. So let's go to images. And if you look here, for example, this is Peño. This is a bold version of Peño. This is the light version of Peño. So basically, what Art Deco fonts look like is this. They have sorry, they have very different stroke widths, but they don't have serifs. Let's see, let me show you a few more examples here, such as, for example, this one right here. And when you go on the font portals, like for example Font Squirrel, and you start looking for sans serif fonts, the very first one that you come across is actually an Art Deco font. It is not a sans serif font. And the reason for that is that the person who uploaded this probably gave it a wrong tag. So together with sans serif, they tagged this as sans serif, and so it appears under sans serif, but it is actually a Deco font. And you will get the same problem on others as well. For example, here on the font, this one here, which is actually a very nice looking font, but it is an Art Deco font. And you should not really be using Art Deco fonts unless the subject matter relates to Art Deco. But then there are also, sorry, I don't know, I have a frog in my throat. But then there are also other Art Deco fonts, like this one here, for example, that doesn't have that difference in stroke width, or this one right here. But this is also a very typical Art Deco font, and in fact, if you go here to Cassandre's work, you will see a lot of examples, like this one here, for example. See, right here, that use these kinds of fonts. Again, these are not, although they are sans serif, these are not really sans serif in the contemporary sense that we use them. So if you go to one of the previous tutorials where I was talking about consistency and widths, you will find that there are a lot of things about these Art Deco fonts that are different from our contemporary usage of them. So you need to be careful. And that is basically what I wanted to alert you to, because this is actually a very common mistake that a lot of young designers make, and that you should, here again, see, this is again a very typical Art Deco font, and you should stay away from these mistakes as much as possible. Bye.